Shalim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you for joining me, Shalim. Just a little introduction. You're a chartered accountant and the owner of SKN Accounting Service in Birmingham. That's right, isn't it?
Partner at SKN Chartered Accountants. I'm not the owner.
And you and I have known each other for a long time. We work on tax litigation matters. Obviously, I get instructed by you from time to time on matters of litigation, but you're the expert on the tax. I do accept that. I take advice from you sometimes as well. Anyway, the reason we're having this chat now, obviously, due to the pandemic issues, we've had a number of calls from clients, but obviously I just wanted to ask your advice on certain matters. I'm going to try and keep it short and ask you on 4 subject matters, if that's okay. The first one I want to ask you was, tell me what the provisions that have been made in relation to businesses.
Well, it seems to be every other day there's more announcements. So it's not like one announcement, there's loads of announcements. So we try to keep our clients informed as we go along. But initially, when they first started, the main things were the grant for businesses. So this is the £10,000 and £25,000 grant. So 10,000 for any business. So it could be any company that's not paying or getting small business relief on their rates. So they will get £10,000. And then for the hospitality sector, obviously they started off closing down all the restaurants and what have you. The restaurants, bars, hotels, anything to do with hospitality. So they're giving a grant of 25,000 for anyone where the rateable value is between 15,000 to 51,000. So these are the businesses that are paying business rates. They don't qualify for small business relief, but they're in the hospitality sector. So that's the main grant. Then you've got the employee retention scheme, which is if for any business where up to, I think it's up to 250 employees, there is a cap where if you retain the employee on furlough, which means they're on temporary leave, so you keep them on your payroll, but they're not actually working in your business. So they're at home, basically having a holiday, as it were. And the government will pay 80% of their salary. So for 3 months, that's from 1st of March to, so March, April, May. So for 3 months up to end of May. I think they will extend it, but for now, it's only for the 3 months. So as long as the employees remain on your payroll, we can then apply for the grant, which we'll have to apply for in April. You can't apply for it now. It's going to be after 6th of April. They haven't developed the system yet. So once the system is created, your accountant, if it's SKN, we will do it for you, basically.
Okay, well, let me try and break down what you've just said, if I can, in small pieces. Just going back to the grants, so any business, even if it's a lawyer's business or an accountant's business or a retail shop that doesn't pay any rates because they're exempt from rates, they're entitled to £10,000. Is that right?
As long as they get small business relief, that's the main advisor.
I think business relief is when you're exempt from rates, isn't it?
You're not exempt.
Yes.
You are liable to pay, but they give you relief on that.
Oh, sorry, I'm using the word exempt. So you're liable to pay. Okay, you are right, actually. Exemption is different to rate relief. So anybody who has a particular rateable value but doesn't pay rate because of the rateable value, they're entitled to a £10,000. Doesn't matter what sector they're in. Is that right?
Doesn't matter. The only issue is charities, because charities don't get small business relief; they get charity relief.
Okay, I purposefully left that to one side. So leaving aside any charitable businesses, but does that mean, for example, a grocery shop that is trading but doesn't pay rate because they get relief, are they entitled to that £10,000?
Yes. I've had some people who aren't our clients calling us saying, my accountant saying I need to close to get the grant. You do not need to close.
So even if your business is running, you're entitled to £10,000.
Trading, as long as you fall within the criteria, you will get the support.
Okay, so let's leave that to one side. Now let's go to the £25,000 grant. Now that, I understand from what you're saying, is any business which has a rateable value of £51,000, but it's in the hospitality sector, they're entitled. Is that right?
Basically, retail, leisure, and hospitality.
So banqueting hall,
Yes.
restaurants, takeaways, cafes, or ice cream parlors.
Pubs, hotel, that sort of thing.
Hotel, so they're entitled, as long as their rateable value is £51,000. And
Up to 50.
going back to those two particular grants, the £10,000 and the £25,000 grant, how do you apply for it?
Well, the council will contact you. Now, I've had many clients where the council has actually called them to say, well, you're entitled, give us your details. And some councils are sending an email, and some councils are a bit slow, so they haven't done anything. So I would actually contact them by Monday or Tuesday before the end of March and say, what's happening with my grant? So you need to contact the business rates department in your local council. So the council will come, so the grant will come from the council directly. You do not need to get a broker or pay someone any fees or pay commission. So there's lots of people out there saying, come to us and we'll do it for you and charge you a percentage. Don't get involved in that. If you need any help, ask your accountant and they will help you.
So it's free, but the council will pick it up and they'll contact you. If they haven't contacted you, you could be proactive and contact them and say, well, look, I get relief, so could I have my £10,000, please? And if I'm in the restaurant trade or leisure trade, I have a rateable value of £51,000. I just contact them and say, look, where's my £25,000?
I think just keep it very simple. Just contact them saying, I'm waiting for the grant. Okay. What's happening with my grant? And then they'll go through the process. I know, for example, Cannock Chase Council, they're calling the restaurants and the hospitality sector and saying, you're entitled, give us your bank detail, and they're paying them directly.
Oh, so that's they start paying.
Well, they haven't started paying. They're taking the details. Okay. I think the payments will come by next month, by the end of April.
And just finishing off on that particular section of our discussion, everybody who has a council tax bill, a business rates bill, on that bill, it tells you what your rateable value is. So you don't need to do anything. Or alternatively, you could Google it and find out what your rateable value is. That's right, isn't it?
Yes. Very, very important though, on the bill has to be in your name.
Okay.
Because there's plenty of businesses out there where the bill is in the old occupier's name. So you will have to change that to your name. And in this climate, they are looking out for people claiming incorrectly. So they want proof of a lease and what have you if you want to change the name. As long as it's in your name, then you don't have a problem.
But if your business has been registered with the particular council and you've been paying rates, that shouldn't be a problem, should it?
As long as it's in your name. Sometimes people are paying but under the wrong name, and the business rates bill needs to be under your name as of the 11th of March 2020. Right. If you now get the business rates bill from today, it will not work.
Okay.
Before the 11th of March, very important.
Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to self-employed people. Tell me what kind of grant or financial provisions have been made for them?
It's a bit more difficult with the self-employed because it's not like employee where they get pay slips. With self-employed, you have to do tax returns at the end of each year. So what they've done, they will pay 80% of your average monthly income for 3 months again, for March, April, and May, but they'll base it on your previous 3 years tax returns, and you will have had to have done a tax return for 2018-19, which is April 2019. For anyone who's self-employed after April 19 or has not done a tax return as of 5th of April 2019, they will not get a grant. So that's the issue here.
I understand they have extended the period. If you've missed your deadline, you can get it in. Is that right?
If you haven't done your tax return for 2019, they have extended it for 4 weeks. So without any penalties, if you submit it now, you will still be able to apply for the grant. Again, the grant will need to come through your accountant because the application will be in June. They don't have the systems yet, so they will inform you when the systems are ready. So I would again contact your accountant and they will do it for you.
Okay, and tell me who's entitled to that then?
It's basically anyone whose income is up to 50,000 or 51,000. If your income is below that, then you're
eligible.
Basically, they don't know. It's actually, I can confirm it's 50,000.
It
must be below 50,000. Basically, you're a basic rate taxpayer. Anyone who's earning over 50 goes on to the high rate. That's why they've done that. So as long as you earn less than 50,000 in the last tax year, then you'll be eligible. The maximum you'll get is £2,500 per month.
Yeah.
Same with the employees. The employees, the maximum for the staff retention scheme is also £2,500 a month.
Okay, so anybody who's been fortunate enough to earn, say, on average for the last 3 years, £55,000 for argument's sake, they will not be entitled to anything, will they? Okay, well, that's okay. So that's that. But there's also, we have sometimes where people are directors of a company, but it's their company. They own 100% of the shares. They're the sole directors. Legally, they fall in employee category. Is that the same here?
Yes, yes. You'll be under the employee scheme. So again, we're waiting for the small print because they made these big announcements, but we're not sure exactly what they will do with directors. Because I'm assuming that it will be as same as any other employee. But there may be some caveats, there may be some small print saying directors have to go on the small self-employed scheme. I doubt it very much. I think it will be, as an employee, we can claim 80% of their wages.
Okay. Because sometimes you could have a situation, a director may take a nominal salary of £1,000 a month, say, but at the end of the year takes a dividend. Now, obviously, the 80%, or he's entitled to, well, he's got to be put on leave effectively. So I don't know how that's going to work, because if you
that's the thing. We're not sure whether they will allow directors to be on furlough,
yeah,
temporary leave. So we're waiting for that. But I'm hoping that they don't create these extra restrictions, because we have plenty of clients, director managed companies, 1 or 2 directors. So they should really be entitled. But again, as you say, some of the income is through dividends, some of the income is through salaries. So how they're going to work that, we don't know yet. So we'll have to wait and see.
So, but the other problem do you foresee is you have directors who don't take a salary, but they take a dividend and they do a self-assessment. Are they classed as self-employed though? If they just take
no, legally they're classed as director employees. They're not classed as self-employed. But because I think they're making the rules up as they go along. Not everything has been finalized. So once we get the small print by April, we can start applying for this by middle of April. So by then we'll have the exact information. But I'm assuming they will go off your wages, because it's going to be difficult to do anything else.
Okay, and then you sometimes have, for example, if I come to my particular situation, I'm a director of a law practice, but I'm a barrister with a dual certificate. So I'm self-employed, but I'm also a director of a company, which is a legal practice. Now, how do I stand if, for example, in my last 3 years, my average self-employment has been, say, under £50,000, but I'm also getting a salary from my directorship or my employed basis as a law practice. Am I able to claim the self-employed thing?
I think, again, that's in the small print. We're waiting for that. But most likely what they'll do, like with the employment allowance, which is something where you have more than one company, they'll only allow you to claim off one company. So again, they might say if you have more than one employment, or you have self-employment and employment, as in your case, they may say you're only allowed to claim on one, up to the maximum of 2,500. So we're waiting for the small print on that. But in your case, you'd go for the one which has where you're eligible, and you claim the maximum from there, basically. But it's going to be tricky where you're in your company, you're earning 100,000, and in your self-employment, you're earning 49,000. Are you entitled? So it's one of these things where they might have all the small print saying, well, if your total income is more than 50,000, you're not entitled, including employment, self-employment, anything else.
And presumably dividends as well. I mean, if you have a rental income as well.
We have lots of clients with rental income, for example. Now the tenants aren't paying the rents.
Yes.
They're getting, because as you know, you can't evict them now for 3 months. So if they don't pay the rent, you can't actually do anything about it. So lots of tenants would say, well, I'm just not paying you. So, and the landlords can't do anything. So they are worried, what will they get? And as the rules stand, they're not classed as employees or self-employed. So they won't get anything. Because all the landlords out there that will lose money, they won't really get anything.
Okay. Well, I think for today's purposes, those subject matters are enough for, especially in posting a video on social media. because people's sometimes their attention span isn't that long on subject matters. But can I thank you, Shalim, for joining me today in this particular video. And as you know, notwithstanding the fact that we're following the government lockdown policies or orders, you are working from home, you are available, you have all the technology behind you, I see, and you can consult with clients through Zoom or through...
We are actually very busy, so we're basically working our normal office time, but again, as you know, we answer phone in the evenings and weekends as we have to, for our clients, just to help them. But we are open, we are working, we are helping all our clients. We're very busy, to be honest, and we have the infrastructure where we can work from home, so it's not a problem. Same with you, as I see you are working as well.
Yeah, well, thank you, Shalim. And both of us share a surname, Uddin. We're not related, although we may look like twins. People have mixed us up for twins before, I think.
It reminds me of the case we had where you were the barrister, I was accountant, and there was a client where you were Sham Uddin, I am Shalim Uddin, yes. And the client was a Mr. Uddin.
Yes.
And the judge said, are you related?
Are you all three of you related? And then I had to say, he's the expert evidence. But anyway, Shalim, have a nice weekend, or what's left of it. We'll have a chat later and try and do another video later on.
Yes, be careful, stay safe to you and all the viewers.
Thank you. Thanks, Shalim. Goodbye.
Take care.